So what we discussed in the yesterday's class, guys? So we discussed about the all the keywords, right?
Docker file keywords.
Yes, very good. Okay, so Docker file keywords. Yeah, we discussed how to install the Docker, Docker. So how to run the Docker commands, Docker file. So Docker keywords, from keywords, maintainer keywords, so copy keyword, add keyword. We discussed about what is the difference between copy and command, run command. We discussed about cmd command, and we discussed about the what is the difference between run and cmd also, right, guys? So run commands will execute while running while creating the docker images. Cmd commands will execute while running the container. So cmd commands only executed by the last cmd command, but if you mentioned any run commands, it will execute from top to bottom. Okay. So, and we discussed about the sample Docker file also. We discussed about the sample Docker file also, right? So, create a Docker file. So, Docker file vi. So, copy the above sample mm, network. Let me connect the guys. We need to connect the AWS. AWS dot console imagine.com. Yeah, sign into console. So, login as a root user. BlueJet. Okay. MFE 142.160. 142.162 EC2 instance, Mumbai region. Yeah, instances. Sensible running. Public address. T. Take the putty. New session. Mm, Appearance. So change settings. Bold 80. Okay. SSH. Auth. Credentials. Browse. What is that? Patch 54. Open. EC2 iPhone user. Okay. Systemctl status Docker. Yeah, guys. Docker is running. Right? The Docker daemon is running. Yeah. So create a Docker file. So how you can create the Docker file, guys? VA Docker file. D capital. So insert. So copy above sample Docker file content and keep in the Docker file. Okay. So what is the Docker file, guys? So this is the Docker file. Okay, from Ubuntu, maintainer Hari. So CMD. Okay, so you guys can copy paste. Yes, then save the file. WQ, escape WQ, save the file. So create a Docker image using the Docker file, guys. How you can create the Docker image using the Docker file? So we already discussed it, right? Yesterday. So Docker build. So what is the command, guys? Docker build command. Yeah. So Ubuntu. So run something like how you can create the Docker images. So from the Docker images, we can create the Docker image from the Docker file. Docker build -t my first image dot. So this dot is nothing but a current file. Where the file is available, the file is available. Docker file is available in this directory. That's the reason we are giving the dot. Dot means it's a current directory. It represents the current directory. Yes, understood? Yep. Docker build. Yeah. So from the Docker file, what you can do, guys? So from the Docker file, we can build the Docker images. So from the Docker images, we can run the Docker containers. So you can run the Docker containers. How you can build the Docker image? You can build the Docker image by using. So by using which command, guys? So by using Docker build command. Docker build, it will build the file. It will build the image from the Docker file. Okay. So it will build the Docker images. So that Docker images will be pushed to the Docker Hub. So that Docker Hub will push it to the, so whatever it will be. For example, this is the dev environment, this is the QA environment, this is the production environment. We can pull it anywhere. So once we create the Docker images, right? So once we create the Docker images, we can pull it anywhere. So we can pull it anywhere. Guys, understood? Yep, very good. Guys, you got the point, right? So how you can build the Docker images? Docker build -t. So what is the name of the Docker image, guys? My first img. My first img image dot. Dot represents where your Docker file will be available. The Docker file will be available in this location. That's the reason we are representing dot. Okay. Yeah. You see, from the Docker file, we are building the Docker images. The Docker image is called it as a the Docker image, my Docker image. Guys, you see, so the command run, hi, I am run one, run echo, hi, I am run two, run echo, hi, I am run three. So these are the, so three run commands are executed. Only one CMD command will execute while running the container. So CMD command will not executed by the now, it will executed by the while running the container. Right? Guys, understood? Yeah. So next, to log into the Docker Hub, yeah. So what is that? You already so create a Docker file, right? Here we can put as a top. Okay. Yeah. So what is this? So create a file. Create a file. So file name is Docker file. File name is Docker file. So what is that? How you can create the Docker file? VA dcaps Docker file. Right. So what you can do? You can copy above sample Docker file content and keep in Docker file. So what you can do once you created that, right? You guys can close the Docker file. How you can close it? So press the escape plus shift colon. What is that? Escape plus shift colon. Okay. So shift colon. So WQ exclamatory will save and quit the file, guys. Okay. Next, create a Docker image. Create a Docker image using the Docker file. So create a Docker image using the Docker file. Guys, understood? Create a Docker image using the Docker image. Okay. Create a Docker image using the Docker file. Docker file, right? So what is that? How you can create the Docker image? Docker build -t image name dot represents the current working directory. Okay. So next, what you can do, guys? So login into Docker Hub account. So you guys are created the Docker Hub account, right, guys? So from the Docker mission. So how you can push and pull the Docker images, guys? We need to pull the Docker images. So we need to log in the Docker Hub from the Docker mission. Okay, Docker Hub from the Docker mission. So what is the command, guys? The command is Docker login. So Docker login is the command to log in the Docker Hub. So note, guys, what you can do: enter your Docker Hub account credentials. Enter your Docker Hub username and Docker Hub account credentials. Okay, account credentials means username and password. Username and password. Yes, understood. Username and password. Okay. Yeah. So how you can tag the Docker images? How you can tag the Docker images before that? So Docker login. How you can log into your Docker hub, guys? So what is the command? The command is Docker login, but I don't know the credentials. Docker space login. Sorry, Docker space login. What is the username, guys? I am using which user? Let me take .docker.com. Actually, forgot the username. Let's see. Username is this is the username. Huh? So username this is the username. Password. What is the password for this, guys? Sign. What is the password? Yeah, Hare Krishna 857. So what are the settings here? Privacy, notifications, billing, usage, full repository. So this is the one. Yeah, my profile, not my profile, my second account settings, password. 1 second, guys. I'm resetting my password. Reset password. So your reset password email was sent to successfully. Oh, great. No, right? Gmail. Wow, system sped up. Yeah, let's try this way. Chup, 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 chup. Error message demon, unauthorized, incorrect username, password.
Sir, better you check in your manage password, na? If you saved.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm resetting the password, no worries.
Okay, okay.
Continue. And say not now. Next. Yeah, Docker reset password. Reset password. New password. Same password. Huh? Enter. Entering the password. Okay. This is the username, guys. Back to app.docker.com. What is this username? Username is Harikrishna 857, guys. What is the username? Username is Harikrishna 857. Yeah. So the username is Harikrishna 857. Update the password. Okay. The username is Harikrishna 857. So again, I'm Docker login. Username is Harikrishna 857. Password. Ah, shit. 1 second. Hare Krishna 857. Password is something. Hmm. Maybe it will login. Login succeeded. Okay. Now you are able to connect with. Now you are connecting with from remote GitHub to your local machine. Okay. Now you can push or pull anything. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You understood how now you can push pull anything.
Yes, sir. To our Docker hub, we can push and pull, right?
Yes. So Docker images. What is that? Docker images. We have a one Docker image. So if you try to push the Docker image, Docker push image, you see. So denied requested access to be resource is denied because of. So you need to provide the tag. So the tag should be your 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 username. That GitHub username, guys. With GitHub user name. Yeah, I will show you that one. What is that? So you can create the tag Docker tag my first img image. So Hare Krishna, what is that? 857 is the account. Then you can create a my first img dot. What is that, guys? Dot nothing on it. So you are creating the tag for your first image to Hare Krishna 857, my first image, because of I want to move this to the Docker hub, right? So for that purpose, Docker images. So you see guys, Hare Krishna, my first image. So now you can try to push.
Both are the same image only, right?
Same image only.
So as we push to our Docker hub, it is showing in the images.
Yes. You see docker.io 857 myfist to push the repo to the repository. Okay. You can give like that. Docker.io slash the push refers to the repository docker.io Hare Krishna 857 my first image. An image does not exist locally with the tag Hare Krishna 857. So it's available, right? Docker images. Okay. So my image is available. So Hare Krishna 857, my Docker image. Right, guys? So directly what you can do, you can push to the Docker push tag name. What is the tag name, guys? My tag name is latest. This is the repository. You can give it. Yeah, guys. You see? So now it is pushing to the because of this is your repository name. So you are pushing this my first image to the Docker hub. Let's see if it is pushed or not. Refresh it. You see, less than a minute ago, pushed the Docker image. Pushed the Docker image. Guys, understood? Yeah. Yeah. Next. So, yeah, guys. Here, yeah. So, what is that, guys? Question is, can we use user-defined name for the Docker hub, Docker file? So, can we use user-defined name for Docker file? So, answer equal to yes. Yes. So, we can do it. Yes, we can. Yes, we can do it. Okay. So, how Docker built -f. So file name. So file name icon t image name dot. You guys understood? So can we use user defined for Docker file? So we can create another name for another name. Yeah, we can create the another name and we can create the Docker build also. Okay. Yep, guys. So the next one is entry point. So what is the entry point, guys? So what is the next keyword? The next keyword is entry. What is the next keyword, guys? So the next keyword is entry point. So what is the entry point, guys? The entry point here, it is used to execute. It is used to execute the instructions while creating the container. So what are the keywords now? What are the keywords as of now? So we are using while creating the container CMD1 and entry point also it will execute while creating the container instructions while creating the containers. while creating the containers. So what is the syntax, guys? The syntax is nothing but a entry point. What is that, guys? Entry point. So entry point echo the double quotes container created successfully. So what is this, guys? So container created successfully. What is that? Echo or something like a Java. Java. So what is that? Comma, double quotes, hyphen jar, comma, container created successfully. So something like what is that target? Where you need to put this target. Target Spring Boot dot jar. Target Spring Boot dot jar. That's not understood. It is used to execute the instructions while creating the container. If you want to, if you want to move that jar file to the target folder, you can use the entry point. You can use the entry point, guys. Next, what is the difference between CMD and entry point? What is the question, guys? The question is, what is the difference between CMD and entry point? Entry point. So what is the difference, guys? The difference between What is the difference between CMD entry point? CMD instructions we can override while creating the container. What is that, guys? CMD instructions we can override while creating the container. The CMD instructions will be overriding while creating the container. But entry point instructions we cannot override. What is that? Entry point instructions we cannot override. We cannot override. Guys, understood? What is the difference between entry point and CMD? Okay. So the next keyword is work dir. What is that, guys? Work dir. So what is this work dir? It is used to specify working directory for the image or a container. It is used to specify the working directory. Okay. It is used to specify the working directory for image and container. Image and container. So what is the syntax, guys? The syntax is work dir, app. Yes. So work dir means it will go to the directory. It is used to specify the working directory for image and container. Okay. The next one is env. What is that? Env. Env. So env is nothing but env is used to set environment variables. What is that? Set environment variables. Set environment variables, right? So example, what is the example, guys? The example is env, env java slash etc softwares dot jdk. we can set the environment variable. So the next one is what is the next one, guys? Next one is expose. What is this, guys? Expose is nothing but the port number. What is that? Port number. So what is the expose? It is used to specify. It is used to specify on which port number our Docker container will run, guys. What is it? It is used to specify on which port number our Docker container will run. So example, what is that? Expose 8080. The Docker container will be exposed on which port number? 8080 port. So the next one is arg. What is that, guys? Arg. So what is a arg? Arg is nothing but by using arg we can take dynamic values from the CLI. Okay, arg is nothing but arguments. If you want to pass a equal to 10, b equal to 20, or something like whatever the values, dynamic values, we can pass it through the CLI. So okay, dynamic values by using arg, we can take dynamic values from CLI. Dynamic values from CLI. It is used to remove hard-coded values in the Docker file. Right? If you write that the information, right, everyone can see it. So if you run through the dynamic values from the CLI, so no one cannot see that one, right? Arc branch, arc branches. Okay, run git clone -v dollar branch. So this is a arc. We are passing the arc repo URL. Repo URL. Repo URL, right? Run git clone -v branch URL. So it will be branch is nothing but in the CLI we will provide the branch name. Okay. So we will provide the branch name. Okay. The next one is USR. What is R, guys? USR. So USR is nothing but it is used to specify the username for creating the image and container. What is that? It is used to specify username for creating image or a container. It is used to specify username for creating image or a container. So what is that, guys? Example is, what is the example, guys? User, Docker user, Docker user, and volumes. So Docker volumes. So Docker volume. So what is a Docker volume, guys? So Docker volume is nothing but a Docker container is within 1 GB, right? Within the 1 GB. So I want to, so the applications log needs to be copied in somewhere else, right? So we cannot copy the application logs in the one that 1 GB Docker image, Docker container, right? We need to specify the a particular volume, particular storage to store the application logs. For that purpose, we are using the Docker volumes. It is used to specify the Docker volume storage location. Okay, it is used to specify Docker volume storage location. Storage location. Volumes. Volumes are used for the storage purpose. Volumes are used for storage purpose. Okay. So the next one is a label. What is that, guys? Label. So what is the label, guys? Label. It is used to add the metadata to a Docker objects in the key value format. What is that, guys? It is used to add metadata to Docker objects in key value format. What is that? Key value format. You guys understood? So example. So what is the example, guys? The example is label name equal to, for example, SBA image. What is that? Name will example equal to SBA image. You guys understood? So understood, right? So we can take the example. So we can create the Docker image. So we can create the Docker image. I have the Docker image, right? Where is that? Docker Kubernetes. Maybe there is a Docker. Mm, Yeah, guys. So what is that? So I want to create a Docker file. For example, we can create the Docker file. Vi to Docker file. Okay. So vi Docker file. So from CentOS, what is that, guys? So from CentOS, run that set command for the mirror list and run set command for the adding the mirror list. Then run command is for minstall -y Java. So run mkdir. So you want to create a directory, opt directory. So work dir is nothing but a cd. It will go to the directory and add a URL and the source and destination. Add is nothing but we can download from the remote and copy it this one. Then run tar xvf hyphen apache. So this will be this will be downloading and untar. Then run move Apache to the OPT Tomcat. Work dir OPT to the Tomcat web apps. So what is that? Tomcat web apps. If you want to go to the Tomcat web apps, then curl. So we need to download this lab 6a data. This is the project, guys. This is the application file. So application file and expose 8080 cmd opt tomcat bin catalina dot sh run. We are starting the Tomcat. We are starting the Tomcat. So we took the CentOS, then we add the mirror list, then we install the Java, then create that OPT Tomcat and go to the Tomcat, download the Tomcat software, then untar the software and move it to OPT, then work it, move it to web apps. So where is the default document, guys, to deploy our application? So this is the OPT Tomcat web apps file. So we can download that file, right? This is the file we can download from the web. Then so we can expose 8080, then Tomcat installation. So what is this, guys? This project is nothing but a we can install the Java, install the Tomcat, and we took the base image CentOS 7 and and we create a we downloaded the var and jar file and into this location and start the Tomcat. Let's see, guys, what this is. So here we are using what are the keywords: from keyword, run keyword, work directory keyword, add keyword, right? Expose keyword and cmd command. So while creating the Docker image, the run commands will work from top to bottom. But if you have a CMD commands 3 or 4, but the last CMD command will execute. So work directory is nothing but a CD command. So the run is nothing but executing the command. Then add is nothing but a downloading and copy the file. Okay. So these are the commands, guys. Let's see. It's gone. Duplicate session. EC2 icon user. Okay. VA Docker file. So I'm deleting everything, guys. Okay. Insert. Yeah. So from CentOS, we need to add the mirror list, that mRepos mirror list, then install Java, then go to the Tomcat, OPT Tomcat, go create a Tomcat folder, go to that folder and download the Tomcat web server, untar that server, move to the OPT. So then go to the web apps, then download that application. So this is our application software, guys. The software lab 6a.war. Because of Tomcat knows only var and jar, right? Then it will be exposed, then it will start the Tomcat link. Okay, so this is our Docker file. Let's create the Docker file. How you can create the Docker file? Docker build, guys. What is the command? So Docker build -t. What is this, guys? This is a lab 6a. Lab 6a. Okay, dot. Internal error, load metadata for Docker IO library, CentOS latest. So, run set command, CentOS. Latest CentOS is not there and all. So let's check the Docker IO. So this is main repositories, right? As you can check it here. CentOS. Yeah, we have a CentOS, right? Yeah. CentOS we have already. We can, yeah, from CentOS 7. What is that? From CentOS 7 VA Docker shift insert. Okay, right click. We can remove this. Okay, now let's save this. Try to run again. Yeah, it is taking the command, but here Apache Tomcat there is an error. Okay, Tomcat download. Apache Tomcat tar.gz. So what is the version 10.1.4? What is the version, guys? 10.1.41. Right, tar.gz, copy link address and change this. Insert. Yeah. Next, start.gz. Here it will change, right? 10. 1.41 or 40. Okay. Let's copy. Let's try this. Let's try this. You guys understood how we can create the Docker file and how we can create the Docker file and how we can build the Docker image from the Docker file. You guys understood? Yeah, it is creating, installing, everything will be showing here. So right now it's running the install Java. Once it is installed the Java, then it will download the files. It will show guys how much GB of how much MB that file is. Till Java is installing. Hey guys, so it will be go to the add install Java, mkdir and work directory opt. Then it will downloading the file, untarring and everything. So now Docker image is created. Everything working fine, and the Docker image is creating, writing a image, Docker image. Okay, ls Docker images. So what are the Docker image? Lab 6a, lab 6a dot is the Docker image. Lab 6a dot is the Docker image. So you need to tag that one, right? How you can tag Docker tag? What is that? Latest Hare Krishna 857 slash slash what is this guys? Lab 6a. Lab 6a. No such image. Sorry. Image name is lab 6a. Right, it created the Docker images. Right, lab 6a Docker images there. Now you are pushing to, what is that? Docker push. Docker push image name. You see guys, it is pushing to Docker Hub repository. So right, so you can pull from uh, development environment or QA environment, right? So we can reuse this Docker image. Guys, how much the size of the Docker image? 716 MB of the Docker image. So Docker image. Guys, understood? Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now we can run the Docker container. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Docker images. So what is the Docker image? The Docker image is lab 6a or lab a. Lab 6a or Krishna lab 6a. How you can run this Docker? Docker ps hyphen a. Any Docker containers are running? There is no Docker containers are running. There is no Docker containers. So how you can run the Docker containers? Docker run hyphen D is nothing but a detached mode. Hyphen P is nothing but a port number. What is the port number? 8080. So the first is the host port. The second one is the container port. So this is the host port. Host is nothing but a VM our EC2 instance port. So we need to go to first, we need to go to the VM, then we need to go to the container, right? I will show you. So that Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna 857 slash lab 6A. Guys, it is. So the Docker is running. Docker PS I excited with 8080 y Docker run -d -p Hare Krishna lab 6A excited. So yeah, so something is wrong, guys. That is the reason it is excited. Let's see. Docker run -d -p port number. We give the port number to right. Docker RM Docker RM the remove that what is that ls cat docker images. Yeah, we have a latest images 55555 MB. Let's try this way. Docker run -d -p port 8080 or 9090 colon 090 lab 6A Docker PS I2. Why it is excited, guys? Excited 3 seconds ago, right? The Tomcat. So we need to give the Tomcat 8080, right? The port number we already discussed, right? Is this 80? Docker P, Docker run -p, D is nothing but a detached mode, -p is nothing but a port. We can give the port number. Expose we already discussed it, right? 8080. So we are giving it in the container running time. So 8080 colon 8080 with lab 6 Docker PS. Docker PS, nothing is there. Docker PS hyphen A. So this is Docker RM. Guys, something is wrong. Docker pull Tomcat NGI next. Right, it is downloaded. Docker images. Docker run -d -p 8080 colon 8080 NGINX. Docker PS hyphen A. Yeah, it is up and running. It is up and running with the 8080 port number, guys. So what is the IP address of this public IP? This is the public IP, right? HTTP colon / is the public IP colon 8080. I think 8080 is enabled or not. Let's see in the security inbound rules. All traffic is enabled. Input port 8080. No. Let's so this is the one. Here edit inbound rules. Add rule. All TCP. Custom TCP 8080. This is the one. Save the rules. Okay. Let's check. 80. EC2 episode. This is the one. Instances. Details. Public IP. HTTP colon double slash. 8080 only. Yeah, in Nginx. Guys. So somewhere AWS is blocking. AWS is blocking security. All the traffic rules are added, right? How much we give? So 1 second. I think so. What we give 8080, right? Sorry, 8080 is the port number. 80 8080. Docker PS -a. 80 is running, right? 80 TCP 80. Yeah, you see, guys. You see. So welcome to Nginx. The Docker container. So container having what? The container having the container having the Nginx. So container having the Nginx. Okay. So now you understood. So this is the application. So tomorrow I will show you guys. So why it is not showing 8080 is will work, but I don't know exactly. Yeah, 80. So from welcome to Nginx is okay. So that container is showing. For example, your application tomorrow, our application will be deployed under the Nginx or Tomcat. We'll show you tomorrow, guys. Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt. You said we need to know Unix and AWS to learn this.
Mm, yes,
So
yes, yes,
I'm in the
yes.
starting phase of Unix learning. So do I have to join
Why
in the
you
next
not?
batch?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why you not join today class? Sam, right?
Uh,
You.
yeah. So I had work in the evening, so I could not join. I was late.
Okay, okay. So the recordings are they are providing, right? You can.
Yeah. Mhm. Today I asked. They said the demo is over. The timing is
Yes,
over.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Guys, so
Yeah.
whoever, so tomorrow the URL will be the demo Zoom link will be changing, guys. You guys can pay money. So then they will create a new Zoom link and so from Monday onwards we are starting with the new Zoom link, guys. Okay, whoever not paying, so you guys can pay today or tomorrow. Okay,
Okay. So
Sam.
after Unix, I can
So
join this course.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
yep. Thank you. You can continue, Sam. You understood, right? What we are doing.
Um, not much. I joined late
Mm-hmm.
in this class
You are
also.
working as a which domain?
No, no, I'm not working actually.
Okay,
I'm
okay. You
just,
are trying to.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You will grab the knowledge. You can join both them. You can get the knowledge. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Thank you. You are from Sam, Hyderabad, or
From Chennai?
okay.
Chennai.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. Thank you.